If I asked you to name a current black woman serving in the United States Senate, could you? Well, of course you could not, because there are no black women currently serving in the United States Senate. Well, my next guest is looking to change that. Angela Alsobrooks is on the ballot, running for United States Senate in Maryland, and would be the first black person ever to represent Maryland in the Senate. She was the first black woman in Maryland history to be elected county executive, an office she currently holds in Prince George's County. And during her tenure, she has focused on reducing violent crime and created a dedicated unit to investigate and prosecute police misconduct. County Executive Angela Alsobrooks joins me now. Greetings. So first, I just want to ask, you represent Prince George's County. You are the county executive there. For folks at home, it's kind of like being the mayor, okay?
It is. Yes, it is.
You're the mayor, essentially,
exactly.
of Prince George's County.
Right.
That county is extremely blue. President Biden won the county and about 80% over President Trump in the last election. But Maryland, while it is a blue state, some people say it has a lot of red districts, okay? And if you are elected a United States Senator, you will serve those folks as well. How will you make the shift, or is there a shift to make it all?
You know what? I don't know that there's a shift to make. I have been fortunate not only to be a lifelong Marylander, but I think it's really important also that I am a mother of a teenage child, and I've had the chance to work both as a prosecutor in Maryland and as an executive, and this has allowed me to understand what Maryland families care about. And I have spent my time really working for those communities. And so all of us, I believe, at the end of it, want the same things for our families, to live in places that are safe, to have true economic growth. And so I understand so much what Maryland families care about, because it's exactly what my family cares about as well.
You know, a Gotcher College poll found that over 80% of Marylanders think that reducing crime is very or extremely important. I know you have done some work around this issue, particularly during the pandemic. How would you work to address crime concerns as a United States Senator?
It's a very important issue. Safety. It's a basic, I think, right of every person is to live in a safe community. We do that in two ways. One is to make the right investments. It's what I've done as a prosecutor, making sure that we are investing in programs like truancy, anti-truancy programs. But as executive, I've also invested in mental health care, addictions care, programming for children to have jobs, making sure that we're growing the economy and growing jobs as well. But we also have to hold people accountable at the end of the day. And I think those two things work hand in hand to ensure that we have safe and livable communities.
So, that poll, they asked a lot of questions. In that same poll, about 83% of Marylanders said that improving public education was a priority. What is your record on public education?
It's the great equalizer. Education is, by the way, but my record is over the last 3 years, for example, we have broken ground on 10 new schools in Prince George's County, because I believe not only do we invest in what happens in the classroom, but making sure that our children are in facilities that bespeak their dignity. We say so much to our kids about what we believe their potential to be by the way the structures, by having structures that respect them. So 10 new schools. We've had the highest investment in education in history in Prince George's County. We have also increased the salaries of teachers and others in school. For example, we have the highest paid crossing guards in the state. So we've made significant investments.
Madam County Exec, education obviously is a hot button issue right now in America. When we talk about education and public schools, we often, look, folks are wondering about parental rights. Yeah. What is your take on the current debate that is raging in school boards across the country and also across the state of Maryland?
I don't think there's any doubt that parents have rights. They have rights about the way that their children learn. They have so many rights about the environments that their kids go into. I say that parents have rights and responsibilities. The act of educating a child is a community function. It means that the engagement of parents and families ensure the success of children. And I think the more engagement we have from parents and families, the more successful our children will be, the safer they will be, the healthier they will be.
Let's talk about some endorsements that you have. You have received some endorsements from some folks already up on Capitol Hill. Marylanders like Congressman Steny Hoyer and Congressman Mfume. But you are running against, there's some other folks in this race. Will Jawando, who is a councilman in Montgomery County, but also Congressman David Trone. And David Trone is well-funded. He is spending, $12 million of his own money on a House re-election campaign against him last year. I know your campaign has put out a memo that has talked about your record fundraising, but are you concerned about going up against David Trone and his war chest, if you will?
Well, you know, first of all, I am honored to have had the support of Congressman Steny Hoyer, who's been a great friend and a mentor. The same with Congressman Mfuma. These are people I've worked with over the years who respect my record, who respect me as a public servant. But I am also really proud to have had the grassroots support of Marylanders who have contributed really to my campaign from all 24 jurisdictions. We raised $1.7 million in 7 weeks because I believe that our message is resonating with Marylanders who know me as a person who has fought for them, who has spent my career not only fighting to create the safe communities that we've talked about, but the kind of economic growth and jobs. So I will continue to focus on the issues that everyday, hardworking Maryland families care about. All of us at the end of the day want our families to have the medications they need when they're sick, to have access to health care and to have addictions care, mental health care. I'll continue focusing on issues for Maryland's families, and I've been really, really honored to do so.
So you're not concerned about the fundraising?
Well, we are raising money. We're raising money from all over Maryland. Again, people who are pitching in $5, $10. In fact, the first quarter that we had was the highest for fundraising quarter in Maryland history. So we recently broke a record for fundraising because Marylanders are fired up and they are supportive of this campaign and the message that says that we need a person in the Senate who not only fights for them, but who understands them and shares the concerns of everyday hardworking families. And by the way, those are not just Maryland families. We need people who are fighting in the Senate who understand people all across America. So I will be not only fighting for those people, but for everyday, hardworking families like the ones I grew up in.
County Executive Angela Alsobrooks looking to make history as Senator, United States Senator Angela Alsobrooks. We will be watching this race. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate your time.